Hello everyone, it's Marcus. I hope that you are doing well. Welcome to my meditations, which for those who don't know is just my fancy pants way of saying my channel news segment. In this channel news segment, there's a couple things that I would like to discuss. First of all, the game in the background is Europa Universalis 4, but it's a mod called Discworld, which is based on the Terry Pratchett novel series of the same name. I am that big teal or turquoise blob in the middle called Stolat. Started off as 3 provinces, now I'm at about 25. But that little tiny red and, well, purplish red smidge down there on the bottom of me, that's Ankh-Morpork. And they have 3 provinces, and they are pretty much equal in power to me, which I feel is a little overpowered, but they are the premier city on the disc. Anyway, that's just what I'm going to be having in the background to keep you visually entertained, but the purpose of this video is to go over a couple things. First of all, my upload schedule. Now, my intention is to upload 5 videos a week, that is every day but Monday and Friday, though historically I do tend to upload on Mondays when I feel up to it. However, I'm going to be away from the computer for a lot in the next 2 weeks, and especially over the weekend, which is when I do most of my recording, so I may not reach the same frequency of uploads that you are used to, and definitely there won't be any uploads next weekend. I would love to, in a perfect world, have 3 Total War Attila videos a week, but because of the history and having to kind of wrap my head around that, I'm generally hoping to get about 2, although over the next 2 weeks it might just be more like 1. And I apologize for that, but that's the cost, I guess, of having videos that are more than just me sitting down and playing a game, but actually have a little bit of historical research and whatnot going on in the background. Right now I currently have 5 ongoing series. There's of course Attila. There's my Dwarf Fortress series, which is just about over. I think we're on episode number 51, and it's probably not going to go a whole lot longer than that, but the problem is the game moves very, very slow in the late game due to FPS difficulties. Like, to give you an example, I played it for about an hour and a half this morning, and if you'll recall in episode 51, we were at the beginning of a new year, the 10th year. Well, after playing it for an hour and a half this morning, we are now at the beginning of the 2nd month of the 10th year. So you can kind of see how a lot of time has to be put into that game that doesn't necessarily come through on the recordings. So that one won't be updated very frequently, but it is definitely winding down. Adventurer Manager, I've decided I just want to play that one out till the end. It's a goofy little game. I really enjoy playing it. I have a lot of fun. It gets less views by far than any of my other series, but I don't care because I really enjoy playing it. And for those of you that are watching it, in about 2 to 3 episodes, there's going to be a huge doozy, a little turn of events that changes everything. But moving on, then there's also Sunless Sea. Now, I never intended to make Sunless Sea a full series. The game actually, after a while, gets a little repetitive as you go from one port to another that you've already been to write up reports and make money. So really, I'm just doing it for the initial exploration and to kind of give you a feel for the universe, but then I'm going to call it quits. Probably around episode, I don't know, 10 to 15 somewhere, once I feel like I've shown enough of the world and inspired some people maybe to go out and give it a try. And finally, there's Baldur's Gate 2, which for right now is on hiatus yet again. Yes, I know. For the 50 or so of you that watch that one, I apologize, but I'm definitely not going to let it go for like a year like I did last time. I will, as soon as some of these other series start finishing up, I will put more episodes of that. I've overextended myself, definitely, and I'm aware of it. My eyes are a lot bigger than my stomach in this instance. My ideal way to run this channel would be to have 2 series going on at a time, an A series and a B series. Typically the A series would be a lot more intensive with people getting named, with out of recording work that I have to do. In episode or series B would be more free fare and would be more lighthearted. It's something I can just sit down and record. An example of that would be like Baldur's Gate 2, for example, or like Pandora, I used to do. Just something that doesn't require a lot of playing off camera. But right now I think it's more going to fall into an ABC kind of thing, where A will be Attila, and then B and C will alternate. It'll sometimes be Dwarf Fortress, sometimes be Adventurer Manager, sometimes be Sunless Sea, and so on and so forth. But eventually, in the near future, I hope to be able to go back to an AB kind of structure. I enjoy the variety, I really do. It keeps me pumped, and it keeps me wanting to produce videos. When I first started, of course, I just did one series at a time to completion, and that's cool, it gets series done, but where I'm at right now is I like to do different things. So I apologize if it takes a little bit longer for series to end, but considering a lot of people just wait until I'm done anyway and just kind of batch watch the series all at once, and YouTube provides that luxury, you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So, after making it clear that I'm a bit overwhelmed with the number of series that I'm doing, the next thing I want to talk about is a new series I'm considering doing. And it wouldn't be a series in the traditional sense. It would be something very casual, and every once in a while it wouldn't necessarily have a strict schedule. But what it would be basically is a bunch of little mini-series tied together in one playlist. Kind of like a showcase of different stuff. I was thinking maybe 3 different parts to it. Part 1 might be like short indie games that I want to do an episode or 2 on just to give them some exposure and show them off. Part 2 would probably be like AAA games that I'm playing on my own time that I wouldn't necessarily want to record in their entirety, but I just want to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now, look at this is cool. Like I was thinking about that recently when I was playing the Endless Legend, and I spend a lot of time playing that game, and it's not something that I would necessarily do a series on my channel, at least not for a while. Maybe if I got really good, but you know, I was thinking maybe just, oh, here's where I'm at on this, look at this empire that I put together. And the third thing would be like old games, like games that are clunky and old and you wouldn't want to do a whole series on, but kind of like, ooh, remember this? To give you an example based on stuff I've already done, you can kind of see that maybe my 5-episode Worlds of Magic miniseries would probably fit into this category. If you've been with me for a very long time, the 1-episode kind of look at the Banner Saga, the day it came out, would fit into this. This Europa Universalis 4 Discworld mod that I have in the background here, you know, the kind of the games I have in the background of my meditations videos, stuff like that, you know, just 1 or 2 videos at a time in a big playlist. The next thing would be finding out what to call it. It's kind of like a variety kind of show, and I was thinking of some cool Marcus Aurelius-y type Latin thing, but I don't know Latin very well, and so couldn't think of anything. If you have any suggestions, by all means let me know. Also let me know what you think of the idea in general. It would be very similar to what some other YouTubers do, where they have like a let's try, kind of that format, where each episode or every 2 episodes is a different game. But again, it wouldn't just be trying new games. It could be sometimes games I'm really familiar with, games I'm in the middle of. Some good examples would be I am kickstarting the Pillars of Eternity and or Project Eternity, well, it's both, I guess, and the Torment Tides of Numenera. And while I wouldn't do a full series on those games because they're relatively linear, and I kind of feel like if you do a series on Dominions or Dwarf Fortress or Crusader Kings, it inspires people to go out and play it themselves. But if you do a series on a linear game, people will watch it instead of playing the game, I guess. Now, Baldur's Gate 2 doesn't really matter because that's an old game that most people have played already. So it's more like me just having a nostalgia tour. But for those newer games, I wouldn't want to do that to them. However, I will be getting them. I've kickstarted both of them, and I will be playing the hell out of them. So I might as well just record a video or 2 and be like, hey, here's where I'm at in the game. Look how awesome it is. You should all go out and get this. Something like that. But, yeah, that's what I've been thinking. So let me know what you think. And finally, I want to give some shout outs to some other smaller YouTube channels. You know, it's funny. I'm not big by any stretch of the imagination, but I am bigger than some, and so there's people that comment on my videos or people that I talk to that are doing some good things, and I want to give them a little bit of exposure. First of all, many of you who know me because of Dominions 4 already know about Maryland, but he is doing a tutorial series right now to Dominions 4, and you know, he doesn't update every minute, but he is updating more regularly these days, and he is a wealth of information about Dominions 4, especially the multiplayer scene. And I couldn't imagine watching anyone with a better grasp of how to succeed in that game than him. So I'll post a link, obviously, down to that in the description. Next, for those of you who follow my Dwarf Fortress or Adventurer Manager campaigns, you're probably aware of a character by the name of Elena. Well, Elena is a real person, and she also has a channel where right now she's playing Banished and Star Wars Empire at War. It's a mod, though, where you can be like different factions. So I will provide a link to that as well. There's also a gentleman by the name of Nuka Citrus, who is doing a tutorial series on Dwarf Fortress. And he's a really interesting guy. He's got a lot to say, and I like his videos. If you like my Adventurer Manager series, there's a gentleman by the name of Nat20, whose channel's name is Rolling with Nat20, and he is doing Adventurer Manager, but in addition to that, he is also doing a series on something called Keeper RL, or Keeper Roguelike, which is basically if Dungeon Keeper and Dwarf Fortress met each other at a bar, had a couple drinks, and had a baby. It's even a tile set, similar to the Dwarf Fortress that I'm playing, and it's just really interesting. I've been kind of fascinated by it, and so that's worth watching. Nat20's trying really hard. He does a lot of musical stuff. He's got a lot of technical proficiency, so I enjoy watching him. The next gentleman I've been speaking with recently is a gentleman by the name of Nidaros. His channel is MarcusAureliusLP, and he's doing a Europa Universalis 4 series right now using the Art of War expansion. And there's also a gentleman by the name of Chief Jaranka who does Europa Universalis 4. He does videos in both German and English, but his English series right now are France, Albania, and Castile using the new El Dorado expansion. He also intends to do a Crusader Kings multiplayer campaign, which is actually how I heard of him. He asked me if I was interested in being a part of it, and unfortunately I don't have the time right now to be part of it, but I'm sure it'll be great. So definitely want you to check out his channel. And that'll do it. So I hope that the background EU4 Discworld mod is entertaining you while you listen to me drone on and on and on. Once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching. I honestly wouldn't be where I'm at right now without your support, with your likes and subscriptions, and I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Absolutely. Have a good one.